We're live. Hopefully this isn't picking up our audio till we start. I think we're live. I think for the first time in 2-for-1 podcast history, 2-for-1 history, whatever, booming basketball / hoop journal history. We are live right now on YouTube. Hopefully we'll have some people come in here. I think comments are on, so hopefully eventually we get a comment or two. But this is just going to be basically a normal podcast episode. Unfortunately for Josie, it's probably not the way that he wanted this night to go. We had our resident Thunder fan here. We had Josie, Mitch, and myself, Nate. Dion is in Atlanta right now, I believe, so he's not going to be joining us today. But I guess first off, I think we should allow Josie to get the raw emotions off of his chest. The Thunder obviously losing in Game 7 to the San Antonio Spurs, so we're getting a finals rematch from the 1999 NBA Finals back when it was the 8-seeded Knicks against the Spurs, the first 8 seed to make the finals. But Josie, I guess I'll just give you the table right now, or give you the podium right now to let off your raw emotions. Actually, we have our first comment just came in. Manny said Spurs versus Knicks will be an all-timer. I think we are in for a very good series. But yeah, Josie, here you go. This is your time to let everything out off your chest.
Good afternoon, Hoop Talkers. Oh my God.
The most depressing good afternoon, Hoop Talkers we've gotten.
Good afternoon, Hoop Talkers.
This is devastation. This is worst case scenario. To me, two big things were clear in this series and in this game particularly. Number one is that Chet should never be compared to Victor Wembanyama ever again. It is like single A versus MLB. The difference between those guys. And
damn, Chet. Oh, ouch.
I mean, dude, this was an all-time stinker.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you go like all-time ass whooping from a matchup or an all-time stinker from an individual standpoint. Like it sucks because it's.
Well, I felt like I was almost overdoing it on the Chet, not slander, but saying that Chet wasn't living up to what I thought he was going to be, or even close. I was like, hey, Chet, I know you're not Wemby, but give me a good showing. Show that you're at least, this All-NBA level player that you just got awarded, third-team All-NBA. Holy crap, man. Alex Caruso was the second best player for half the series, and he sucked for like the last 3 games too.
Cornette had that 2016 Braun block.
Dude, Cornette just making up for the whole series of being ass with that one block was pretty funny.
And then he played like 2 more minutes and went to the bench. It was like, all right, you did your job.
It was so impactful, though. I mean, there's so much we can talk about with this game, but I just want to say the other takeaway I had was the fact that SGA needs to add something to his game, man. This reminded me of the 2011 finals with LeBron, where it was like they have a game plan for you. It works. It's working. And you're going to have to do something to your game if you want to get past this level of competition going forward. So,
yeah,
I'm disappointed.
Did steroids, maybe
yeah, you got to get on the gear. I think, how many, I want to know how, I'm going to go back maybe and count how many of the shots that SGA took tonight were just him fading away to the left from the wing or the elbow and just hoping that he gets a shot up. Like the arc was like, I'm just going to put as much arc on this as possible and hope that it gets over Wemby.
If it goes, hey, every shot's 50-50, right? It either goes in or it doesn't.
Yeah, and honestly, I like the look with him going against Wemby in this series. He did pretty well on him when they got matched up one-on-one, including in this game. But man, he was flopping again. He was up to his normal shenanigans, but when you can't get any layups, like they took away all his layups. Yeah. He had 1 dunk in this game, but man, he's a different player.
We saw SGA dunk in this series more times than I felt like we saw him dunk all regular season, just because of pure necessity of if I don't dunk the ball, Wemby or somebody's going to come out of thin air and just block the ball. I thought, as much as we give SGA a little bit of shit for the series, and I think he deserves it, he didn't play as nearly well as I think pretty much everybody expected. But this Game 7, I thought he was pretty much keeping a dead team alive for a majority of the game. They just could not get any consistent offense. SGA didn't really get any help. Obviously, J-Dub was out, but Chet Holmgren, like that's where Chet needs to step up. I don't even care about the defense. And like, where is the offense from this guy who is projected to be this 7-foot 3-point shooting 3-level scorer? I know he's not been that through his career so far, but he's still a 16, 17, 18 point per game guy. For him to go out there and just be invisible on offense is unacceptable.
2 field goals? 2 field goals in a game 7? Are we serious, Chet? Like, dude, this is your rival. This is the guy they pit you against for your entire life. You're going to be compared to this guy until the day you die. And this is what you do. I mean, like, it's just unbelievable, man. But
Chet might be thinking of dying after this game.
Shout out Wallace though for actually showing up, because like there was watching the game, it was almost like, okay, you're missing J-Dub, you're missing an element where you can just like add another plate for Wemby to balance, right? But you'd expect at some point you're like, okay, like maybe Caruso will have that insane game like he did previously, and then he doesn't. He shot like ass. Maybe Dort will come alive and just hit like 4 quick threes, and then he didn't. And then it's like, again, shout out Manny. The actual like timing of Wallace's shots were impeccable. It just needed that one other player to step up. And it feels like in every game so far this playoffs, and not just this series, but the entire run, OKC has had that player make the appearance. McCain has made the appearance. Mitchell has made the appearance. The timely arrival of the 7th, 8th, 9th guy on OKC didn't happen tonight. And it sucks that you can go and point to like 7 names that could possibly shoulder a heavier load. But the one game where it mattered most, the one game where there was consequence, there was no like super miracle play, right? Like there was no, okay, maybe iHeart takes over, and he didn't. Like there was like nothing.
Game 5 last year versus Denver, Dort hits all those threes in the 4th quarter, brings them back, and they win the series.
Ass looks too. It wasn't like I kept waiting for the moment where, like, I don't know, for some reason I was like, okay, McCain's gonna catch fire. Like this is it. Like he's clanked the last 3. He's gonna make 4 in a row, and then they're gonna be right neck and neck, and then it's go to OT, and then it just didn't happen. And I was sitting there like, this has got to hurt from a fan base who knows that they have the players that are capable of doing this, and this is just the one time that it doesn't happen.
You know who I really thought was going to step up for no reason, just because he was out on the court doing warm-ups like 3 hours before the game? Kenrich Williams. I thought Kenrich Williams being out there was like, I was like, yeah, he's going to hit a big shot. We're just waiting for a big shot from Kenrich Williams. Obviously, that didn't happen. Kaysen was the only one that stepped up. They were doubling the hell out of SGA on those last few possessions. They wanted anybody else but SGA to get the shot up. Who missed from the corner? Was it Kenrich that missed from the corner?
Yeah, Kenrich missed from the corner. I mean, there's a lot of misses.
Yeah. And I thought, the Spurs got away with another, Keldon Johnson being just wildly. He's an interesting basketball player, man. Like, I don't really know how to describe him. He was really bad and still had some big moments, but it felt like the Spurs didn't get a ton out of their depth outside of Dylan Harper and Champagnie, who's a starter at this point and has been a starter for a while. So, I thought OKC's opportunity was for those role players to step up, and we really saw it in the first few games. And, Alex Caruso has been pretty much a nothing on offense since the first 3 games. Kaysen's been the only guy out of like McCain's been good in spurts, but then, when he goes cold, he doesn't offer you much other than his shooting ability. So I just thought it was really frustrating, like Mitch just said, knowing that OKC has these really talented role players and they just weren't able to really give them anything down the stretch.
And OKC was able to see their wings on the Spurs side be like, okay, they're having a terrible shooting night, and then Champagnie's like 60% from 3. What the fuck are you going to do about it? And everyone's like, okay, all right, my bad.
On the other side for the Spurs, like, man, those guys were D'ing up this game. You got to give them so much credit. Like the way they were getting out to shooters, the way they played SGL series. I mean, Vassell, I don't know if we're doing a 2-for-1 stock market update. Vassell would be so high on my list for a stock raise.
He had, you guys have, the game Crash, obviously the gambling where it's like, it's a rocket doing this.
Yes.
Like it seems like he had hit like a 5X on his portfolio, because I won't lie. The splits are not pretty in any way.
No, he has big balls, man. He'll take the shots though that need to be taken.
I am not an efficiency merchant, as we know. I'm an eye test merchant. And the shots that he did hit were like outrageous to take of a player of his quality. And I love me some Vassell, but like the audacity of some of those jumpers, the audacity of some of those looks, I'm like, they're draped all over you. It's a sidestep. Only Dame hits those types of shots, and he's like, I don't care. I'd rather go
his
4 for
energy,
15 than 1 for 9 because 1 for 9 means you stop shooting. Yes,
Like
Vassell, I know.
If you were just showing Devin Vassell's like basketball reference page, you probably would not just expect, like, you wouldn't expect the diet of shots that he takes, at least in this playoff run, to make up his whatever, like 12, 13 points a game. He's been, I think not every championship team, but a lot of really good teams need a player like that who's willing to take just crazy, a tough shot maker, like a bad shot shooter, a good bad shot shooter, I think is what Walt Frazier once said about Zach LaVine. And I've used that phrase a bunch since then. You need a guy who's willing to take some bad shots and can also get on a hot streak and just hit some tough shots where the defense is like, like, what do you do about that? Like, you want him taking those shots and he's hitting them anyways.
Yeah. I looked at, sorry, you go, Jesse, get your take off.
On the other end, he's just like versatile. He's getting blocks. He's getting steals. Like, he's long as hell. He's almost playing like a power forward role, him and Champagnie both. And, they don't really have an honest to God power forward on this team. And the way he's filled that role in this series is, oh man, it was the difference in a lot of these games. Maybe not tonight because he didn't hit that shot, but
the fact that the fact that the Spurs make the Thunder look unathletic at times in this series was kind of insane to me.
They were doing OKC's formula to them. Like, they were keeping them away from the basket as long as they could, stretching out the shot clock. That was a big emphasis of both teams in the series. So they just outdid what OKC has done for the last 2 years in this series, man.
I like how this series has kind of moved the bar for what we as a generation accept as physical basketball. Because by letter of the law, and if we want to like go down to semantics, the foul that Caruso committed on Castle is by definition a flagrant. You had the attempt for the ball. You continue to follow through. A midair player was brought from the air. His advantage was taken away and onto the ground. The refs have done a good job of being like, this is what's acceptable. This is what isn't acceptable. Part of that is because it's OKC. That's no stranger to anybody around the league, which is why I think the Knicks series will be interesting to see what the free throw deficit is between the two teams, because I do think the whistle is going to favor the Spurs a little bit more in that series. I think what they showcased in 7 games here in OKC, the refs are going to be like, we let them get away with a lot on both sides. We're going to tighten it in a little bit. But I think what this series did more than anything was get people to talk about and have a dialogue about what's the difference between physical playoff basketball and just plain recklessness, because Wemby was laying out hits in game 6, dog. He was telling Kelly and Biombo to go murder people. Now, here's the other thing.
Well, the Carter Bryant
one's been egregious. Here's the other thing. Alex Caruso has blatantly pulled people down from midair a bunch of times this series. Not a single one of them has been a flagrant. So you got to kind of go, okay, we missed
There was one that was a flagrant, rightfully so. But
the ones that I've compiled, so hater in me, I've compiled about 7 minutes of fouls that I believe should have been flagrants or reviewed after the fact for both sides. 6 of the minutes are for OKC. I will say that. But a lot of the fouls where it's like, if you're not going to call this one, obviously you're not going to call that. Let the boys play, and they did a lot of that, and which I think is good, because all year everybody did this whole thing with Shea where it's like, oh, he's a pussy, he's soft, he's 10 ply Charmin. Same thing they talk about with Brunson though, and you hear it all the time, Nate, where he embellishes contact, he sells it. Well, at this point, if you're going to allow these certain plays to happen, you have to say as an official, okay, this is physical basketball. This is how we're going to play. You can't have it both ways, NBA fans, because there's a lot of you right now who are whining and bitching and moaning about both of these teams. You either like the physical play or you dislike the physical play. You cannot say, I like it when this team wins because of physicality, but I don't like it when this team wins because of physicality.
That's fair.
If the Knicks can put a body on Wemby and prevent him from getting the turnaround yam every single time, and it's a foul because he's undercut, I do not want to hear complaining if he's not at the line because he misses those dunks. Or vice versa, if Cat is put in hell over and over because Wemby just kind of goes, oh, wait a minute, boop, and he's at the line every time, you do not get to go to Twitter and go, you know what? Wemby's actually 10 ply and he's a softer than a Tootsie Roll fruit cup, and I hate him and I hope he dies.
Hey, Twitter's gonna do Twitter, man. I mean, you can't control that.
Yeah, you can't tell Twitter what to do. Twitter's just untamable beast.
But I don't want to sit here and be like, yes, the officiating was really a big deal in this series. I don't want to sit here and say that caused the outcome at all, because I feel like between game to game, it wasn't consistent, but in each game, it was kind of consistent. And I feel like the better team won. The Spurs were the better team throughout the series, and I think the better team won. So
I thought the officiating was not great, but I thought it was equally not great for both sides, depending on the game. I don't know because it felt like, in Game 6, it felt like, I don't want to say that the refs gave OKC the game, but it felt like SGA couldn't get anything going, and it was just him getting to the free throw line constantly off weak contact. But then there were some games where just like, okay, Wemby is literally getting free throws after being touched, and he's 7'5". Like, he genuinely does sometimes act like he's made of paper, which I get he's thin for his height, but Wemby's definitely started to lean into the more exaggerating some of the calls. And, if the other team's going to do it, then I don't blame him for doing it. And like Mitch mentioned with Brunson has, I think, almost seen a lot of the narratives about him being like a flopper or is exaggerating contact. And it felt like this season he did a lot less. I don't like that. I want him to exaggerate the contact. Like, if you're going to get rewarded for it, go play into contact, go, flail your big ass head around, make your braids flop a little bit. Like, I don't have an issue with that. And I think against a team like the Spurs, if they're going to do it, you got to do it right back. As much as I think Brunson's a very ethical hooper and, sometimes gets unnecessary flack, I go be unethical if you have to in a series against San Antonio. They're going to be way more physical than Cleveland, Philly,
I love it.
or Atlanta.
I love it, Nate. Absolutely love
that. I just
take.
don't care at this. If other people are doing it, why not the 6-foot guy with the fucking bobblehead?
Well, by the way, I should mention real quick, I went to games 3 and 4 in Cleveland of that Eastern Conference Finals series, and a lot of Knicks fans there. Got to talk to a lot of them, and they were very, very adamant about being ethical hoops. They just kept saying, man, we're the ethical hoops. We're going to save basketball.
Ethical Hoops Committee, the New York Knicks.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. Great fans, man. Great fans. But we can get back to this game.
Yeah. I mean, we can talk about this game. We'll move towards looking at the finals in a bit. I still do want to talk about some things in this game. We did talk about that Cornet block a little bit before. Do you think that was like the turning point for you as a fan? Did you feel like the momentum was slipping away after that?
Absolutely. I mean, I thought that it was a golden opportunity for the Thunder. You have Wembanyama, 5 fouls. Honestly, they didn't go at him nearly enough after he got his 5th foul. But then he's off the floor in the 4th quarter. So, yeah, you expect this is going to go in the Thunder's favor. And then, no. Cornet just erases Isaiah Hartenstein at the rim. Man, he's gotten criticized a lot in this series, been played off the floor borderline at some points in the series. But tonight, he made the biggest play of the series, possibly, which was as simple as a 4-point swing.
Where do you look at Hartenstein in the future of this team? Because he has the player option in the offseason. Do you think he's going to accept that? Like, is he on the team next year, or what is your prediction for what happens with Hartenstein?
That's a great question. I do think he's going to come back. Honestly, you might have to take a look in the mirror if you're Sam Presti. And how much do you believe in Chet Holmgren? Really, I would keep Isaiah Hartenstein over Chet. Like, absolutely.
Oh my God!
Would you?
Dude, Chet has just completely made this fan base want to kill him.
Now, hold on a second. How interested would you potentially be? Okay,
oh my God, he's gonna make a Raptors.
It's
not a segment without a Raptors mock trade.
Let's give you Grady Dick. You can have RJ and Jakob Poeltl.
Even on the live pod, you gotta get that one in
there. All
there.
right, there we go. Sweet. Thank you, Chet. Welcome. You will be catching lobs from CMB. This is great. Okay, cool.
And then Chet becomes like Canadian.
You know what? I will help him study for his citizenship test. But I do want to get this now. I want to like put my fucking mark on this.
Yeah, because mark your territory.
I do not want us to circle into 2028 and the narrative has flipped and now we all hate watch the Spurs because we're tired of their dynasty. For a second, I would like to appreciate OKC for being able to be as dominant as they are, face the adversity that they did face, and still make a fantastic, like, this is going to be one of those like 7-game series where you're like, hey, want to watch a fucking 6 series on the telly? Like, you're gonna show your kids this when you're
that
like
game 1, yeah.
Dude, what you're gonna do, it like the way that I talk about 2019 76ers matchup with Toronto is this is how it's gonna be with like OKC fans and Spurs fans. They're gonna be like, back in my day, all right, David and Goliath went 7 games.
That's the big thing for me is like I don't want the Knicks to lose the finals regardless. I don't want to be remembered as the team that gave Wemby his first ring on his way to like 7. I don't want it to be like, oh, Wemby started everything here against the Knicks in the finals in 2026 and they haven't gotten back since, and we're like 10 years,
I do think it would be a great launching pad for his GOAT.
Oh, it would
trajectory
be
if
for him.
In like when he puts up 40, 10, and 22 in Madison Square Garden to close out the Knicks, like that would be such a nice like.
It's already
two for one hoops creator Nate Taylor found hanging in a closet.
The Lions.
It's already the most box office NBA finals that we've seen in at least 10 years, guys. Like this is the biggest matchup I can imagine. The biggest
it's New
market
York versus the guy who's supposed to be the next GOAT. I feel like you're honestly not wrong in that, even though I wasn't thinking that initially. That is, I mean, since the Warriors and Cavs going back and forth, I think this is easily.
Yeah, there was more star power.
The third time around, everybody was like, all right.
Although I think Celtics Warriors was pretty big.
Yeah, but I'd definitely have New York. I mean, millions of people are going to watch.
No, yeah. I think any Knicks championship was probably going to be up there.
Yeah,
because they have.
It's speak it into existence, Nate.
I want to ask you guys a question. Real
okay,
quick.
I have a question. I have a question after. Okay.
Okay, we'll get our questions out.
We're in the queue.
All right, we talked before the series, kind of like is best player in the world up in the air. It has been decided, fellas. I'm here to tell you, it has been decided.
Yep, it's Jalen Brunson.
It is Scotty Barnes.
It's probably Wemby.
It is probably I am saying it is with Victor Wembanyama. It is Victor Wembanyama. The way he affects a basketball game is unlike any other player I've ever seen. He breaks the game on both ends when he's playing well on offense, at least. He just completely breaks the game. He's a one-man zone on defense and takes away everything at the rim. And no other player can do that. I've never seen another player do half the shit he does. And man, it's beautiful. I can't even hate. Like, I'm a Thunder fan. I'm sitting here like, dude, Wembanyama is on. There goes that man. He's gonna be the GOAT. He might be.
I will say one of the coldest ads I've ever seen in my entire life was the nuns behind Wemby, and it was like, stop him, just pray. And then the mirror to that was when Wemby was looking down at Shea, and it said, just pray, but PREY. And I was that
was AI slop that may have fallen for him.
AI slop. It doesn't matter. It's cold.
Dude, it was hard. I'll give you
that goes hard. Even if it is AI slop.
Can you guys guess for me the ticket price to get in at Game 3, New York at San Antonio?
$20,000.
No, cheapest ticket.
Oh.
It is in the thousands. I'm pretty sure
it's over $2,000. I'll give you that.
$2,437.
Josie, what's your guess?
I go 4K.
It is
$4,200. Let's go. Holy shit.
Dude, there's so many fans, Knicks fans that I know that are like were telling me like they saved up all this money one day to go to the finals, and then I'm just like, I'm not going to the finals. Like, I'm not going to the finals.
I mean, let's be real. The traffic alone is not worth it. Like, that's gonna be insane. You're gonna walk out of your house, and there's gonna be cars in front of your boulevard, and you're gonna be like, "What?" And they're like, "Well, I'm getting in line."
I know a guy this guy is going to New York City to watch the game in a bar.
Yeah, they're doing. Mamdani is like a designated. I don't know if he designated it, but he said that there will be like bars throughout the city, all designated for Knicks watch parties and stuff. So
that is a city. If you walk into that bar without a Knicks jersey, you're getting jumped.
Well, not even without a Knicks jersey. If you'll be fine if you wear like something normal. If you go
you're
in there
and you're blast, and then you're gonna put a Brunson jersey over your dead body, and they're gonna be like, "Yeah, there we go."
I am excited to see some of the games in the city. I'm hoping I can go to some of the bars and watch them. the parade, I don't even want to talk about this. I genuinely cannot talk about like if the Knicks win a championship, because for my own sake, I can't get my hopes up
Your
too
city
high.
will burn.
Like, dude, a parade, especially with like the World Cup going on and like having games at MetLife, like New Jersey Transit, me getting to the city, I'm gonna have to like plan it around like a whole week around it.
You're gonna have to leave the day before, like
multiple days before, get like a hotel in Hoboken or something. Take like the PATH train, which you guys don't even know what it is. Omar's still in here. He said no ifs. We talked about this on the Knicks Nook that we weren't allowed to say it. We were no more ifs. We're not allowed to talk about
Shout
that.
out Omar.
One thing before we start going on to the other stuff. I just wanted to ask a hypothetical really quick. Okay. I guess both of you can answer this. Do you think the Thunder win this series with a healthy Jalen Williams?
I think they win it with like an 80% Jalen Williams. At least somebody to be. I mean, AJ Mitchell too, but like somebody to be an actual release valve, because the J-Dub that we saw was not any semblance of like ready to step on a basketball court. He was Jay
Chud is crazy.
He was definitely not ready to play basketball. And I shout out to him to be like, okay, fuck it, I'll go out anyway. But like, I think an 80% Jalen Williams probably pull through this series, even if it's still in 7 games. But it's just that extra wrinkle in the offense that was missing, and then a very capable defender on the other end.
Doesn't it just suck that the Lakers would have ran through all of these teams if Luka Doncic was healthy, bro?
Yeah. Oh, they're undefeated hypothetically, but
I saw too many tweets that said that.
I think with J-Dub, if he was healthy, he had the continuity with the team coming into this series, then I think it probably ends before 7, honestly, because just because how close they were to winning game 1 in general. So I do think they left something on the table there with J-Dub, but at the same time, like, people are hurting every series. They won the championship last year. Aaron Gordon having the same type of injury. So you can play that game all you want, but at the end of the day, Spurs got it done. So, all
right, Mitch, what were you trying to say before? Or did that left your brain?
I'll be real. You Men in Black completely. Oh, sorry. I wanted to talk because I know you wanted to get into the actual finals matchup.
Oh yeah. I had one more thing before that, but we can I don't know if you want to
get it off. Let me hear it.
What was I gonna say? Kind of just like left my. I just wanted to get Josie, I guess, another temperature check. How much? Not in panic mode, because obviously you don't have to panic. This team's still super young, and you have like another year before you have to pay everybody, right?
It gets very expensive this next year, they're probably gonna let guys go. Yeah.
What are maybe your top 3 moves, or the top 3 things that you're looking at for the Thunder to improve on or change this offseason?
Well, I would say we're going to see a lot of Giannis to OKC jersey mocks soon.
What are your thoughts on that? Like, is that something you're already thinking about?
I don't know, man. No, I have not thought about that seriously. I didn't want to really trade Chet until I saw this game today. And now I'm
Milwaukee.
Hey, let's set the timeline back 10 years, babe. Let's hit the button. But, that's a move, I guess. Honestly, moving up in the draft is a move, of course. I think they're going to try to do that.
I saw like some Cam Boozer stuff to OKC. I don't know how legit
I would hate that for an NBA fan, because then it's just like, hey, man, did you forget that we have Nicolas sitting on the bench still? Oh, wait, now we have Cam Boozer.
Why'd you turn into Hitler?
Nicola?
What the fuck?
Serbian, German, whatever. The whole idea is, though, is like
the Grizzlies would never do that.
If you can just keep parlaying the youth into not having to pay people their rookie max extensions, right? Like that's what OKC's plan is, and it worked to get them 1 ring. It's going to work to get them another at some point. I think the biggest thing is if they do manage to move up in the draft, because whether or not it's Steinbeck, whether or not it's Mara, whether or not it's another big that they manage to get, they will have their iHeart replacement. Like, that is just, and if I'm being honest, I know this is going to sound absolutely insane. Not that I think Mara is going to be the guy that I'm just like, all right, stick him on Wemby, but I think he is going to be the guy that you will be comfortable of him anchoring And as much as Chet is a very valuable weak side defender, this is just my Mara propaganda here. This motherfucker will be able to like bang with 96% of the other bigs in the league.
96% banging efficiency.
And then if you just got to worry about
percentage.
like, the help on Wemby again, which I do think is kind of a lame strategy because like nobody one-on-one is going to be able to handle him, but you also know Chet as a weak side rim protector is not working. So it's like
there used to be a football player, Mark Schlereth. He does color commentary if you watch football for a lot of the games on Sundays. He used to pee himself during games when he was with the Redskins, when he was part of the Hogs offensive line, which was like one of the greatest offensive lines ever. If you don't watch football, but so they called him Stink because he would piss himself and just have pee running down his legs, and no one wanted to touch him. No one wanted to like get around him or touch him because the guy was covered in piss. What if like some like really mid player, I don't know, like let's take who's like a long guy that doesn't play. What if like Jericho Sims just routinely pissed his pants and then you stuck him on Wemby? Wemby wouldn't want to touch him. You wouldn't want to post. He'd just be taking like long threes.
After his training with the monks, though, he'd probably lean in. He'd be like, "I smell asparagus," and then just splash in your mouth, and he'd be like, he'd lean in. He's like, I could tell you need to hydrate. That's very yellow. And then he would hit a step back three in your face. And it'd be like, oh,
focus on hydration.
It's yellow. He like slides Jericho a Gatorade and he's like, focus on hydration.
Oh my God. That just made me tear up, man.
I do think the strat to guarding Wemby is going to be like, I think the blueprint literally is going to be have your big ass Zach Edey body just trying to like body him as much as you possibly can. And if he makes a sidestep 30-footer, okay. Because the best defense they like OKC as a whole played okay defense at times, but I think the best defense they played was when they were just like trying to front him for some reason. Like it seems like a lot of his dunks came from like okay, we're just going to put three bodies at his back. And he went, don't need it.
Yeah.
Don't need it. And
like it's monkey in the middle, just like tossing it over to the other side, but it's to himself.
Yeah.
There were so
like
many. Will Chamberlain.
There were so many where he was just like, is that Caruso on my back? Okay. And he went, just another one.
See, that's the difference between Wemby at 7'4", 7'5". Like Porzingis was 7'3" or whatever, 7'4" with crazy mobility. He was scared to post up Isaiah Thomas. He just wanted to take bank shots off the rim or off the backboard. So it was like,
KP loved that like that mid block turnaround.
Yes, over no.
It's like
why? He's 6'2", and he was still going to shoot that like post fade over you instead of taking it. I don't think I've ever seen Kristaps Porzingis take a post hook. I don't think I've ever seen a hook shot from that guy, right or left.
No, it was either a drop step dunk over somebody who wasn't going to contest him, or somebody who was definitely not going to be able to reach his shot, but he was like, I need to create space, and it's like, no, you don't. You could just go to the rim. You could.
I think what I was just say is like you were being amazed by Wemby before. It's like, yeah, we've seen people Wemby's size before. We've seen like a Porzingis. I mean, he's not the exact same size, but what Wemby's able to just put it all together. And when you said when he's hitting his shots and he's in rhythm on offense, you can't do anything. It doesn't matter what you want to do. He is the ultimate game breaker because you can't game plan. Throughout basketball's history, I don't think Dr. James Naismith ever thought that there was going to be a guy who was 7'5" and could do everything that all the new rules that were implemented after he died or whenever he died. I don't know when he died.
It's been a little
just
bit
crazy watching Wemby. And as much as I obviously want the Knicks to win this title, watching Wemby go on this run and take down this team that was so heavily favorited, it is pretty crazy to watch it happen because, I wasn't alive, or I was 1 year old when LeBron came into the NBA. So this is like for us what that was, I think, at the start.
I think you've made it as a player when your like areas for improvement are tertiary skills that do not matter to your offensive package at all. Like when people are just like, man, as soon as Wemby can hit that short roll lob to Luke, it's like, shut the fuck up, bro. Like that is not a necessity part of his game. The passing Wemby to add to his game would just make him an even more demigod build. But like when people start being like, his positioning for offensive rebounds could improve. It's like, you've made it when people start going like, what is his not 99 overall?
There's not any real areas of improvement for Wemby. It's just really pinpointed in like specific skills within.
I would say maturity and physical maturity, mental maturity, like that stuff still like he's still going to get better because of that stuff.
Yeah, but I think that just happens with age. Like, I'm not worried. I think that's pretty much a concern with most young guys. Wemby's going to fill out even more at some point. And I think his mental maturity is already crazy for this age. And he is such a competitor. Like, he might already be the most competitive guy in the league.
Yeah, dude. His mindset is what makes him different as well. Is just,
I think the most competitive guys in the league I'd probably put up there, like Wemby, Steph Curry. I think I'd throw Brunson probably in there.
I wouldn't leave Luka off that list.
Yeah, I wouldn't. You would leave Luka?
No, I wouldn't leave Luka off that
list.
Yeah,
I wouldn't leave Luka. When Luka's in playoff mode, dude, that basically walking down the Suns and barking at them the whole time.
Shout out, Steven. We're going to be back.
That is one of my favorite like images of all time is Booker 1,000-yard stare at the free throw line and Luka's like, "Hey, buddy." Remember?
That's one of the best pictures ever.
Some shit? Like he said, everybody talks when they're up.
Yeah, I guess we can look forward then to the finals now. We're about like 36 minutes in. So we got some orange and blue hearts in the comments, so some Knicks love. So let's talk about the Knicks now. Let's talk about the Knicks and Spurs.
Steven will be back. Yeah.
Oh, that's Steven from the Fantasy League?
That is, yes.
Oh, okay.
He's a Thunder fan, so that's different orange and blue.
That's a different orange and blue. Sorry, I'm used to the Knicks orange and blue. Yeah, I mean, I have no doubts about the Thunder being back. I think we all know that the Thunder will figure out a way to reload. Sam Presti's one of the best minds in all of basketball.
Shea, come home.
But let's start this NBA Finals preview. Knicks versus Spurs. Obviously, no one here is disagreeing that the Knicks are the underdog in the series, right? Like, we all are probably aware that the Spurs are the better team as of right now, or at least more heavily favorited.
Yeah. I want to just see it because the Knicks have been off for so long, man. Like, they've been on a vacation here.
It feels weird that they've played like 4 basketball games in the last 2.5-ish weeks.
Right. They could have been in Cancun for all we know, man. Like they got their Cancun in early and now they're back for the
ever since that game 4 or game 4 the Hawks Knicks series, I think they've really just shown a different level of locked in.
Yeah.
And the one thing I wanted to go do first actually was because I see a lot of people talking about how the Knicks are facing a completely different tier of defense than what they've played already in the playoffs, which is true. But am I wrong in also saying that I think the Spurs are going to be going up against a different tier of offense than they've faced all playoffs long?
Different tier? No, I think schematically different. They're not like I would not put them another level above OKC's offense, even with the missing players. Like you're going against like, one of the most.
You don't think they're significantly better than OKC?
Significant. I think significantly is a Knicks take. I think they are. I think they are. Like, if you really want to put it into tiers, they're like 0.5. Like, if it's like the difference between S and A, they're like in the middle of that. Because you went up against. I think I'll give you exactly my pitch. Okay. You went up against, in my opinion, one of the most unguardable players in the entire league, who, to this point in time, has had one of the most beneficial whistles I think I've ever seen, period, in a player. Brunson schematically has a very similar game, yet does not get that same whistle. I think the difference of like the offensive schematics of OKC and New York are almost like different philosophies, but I think the quality I don't think the quality of the offense is something that you can go, oh, they're leaps and bounds above OKC. It's like personnel-wise, it's different makeup. The way that they're going to be playing these sets are different. The way that they're going to be attacking the half-court offense is different. The transition offense is going to be different. It's not something that I'm looking at and saying like 100 times out of 100 that the Knicks offense is better than OKC's. It's better by committee because we didn't have a healthy J-Dub and AJ Mitchell missed time. But like just at face value, I'm not saying this Knicks team is an S and this OKC team's offense is an A-.
But OKC's strength has been their defense to me, and both playoffs their offense has struggled and has run into a series where if they go against a good big, they've struggled. So to me, the difference is the Knicks have 5 guys all of them contribute. And even if that fifth guy is Landry Shamet, all of them contribute and are making plays. And that's what we didn't see from OKC in this series. So I think to Nate's point, I do think the Knicks offense is going to challenge the Spurs defense a lot more. And I don't think the way that the Knicks have played this playoffs, where they haven't been as Jalen centric, I think that's going to be a huge help to them in this series.
Yeah, I genuinely, I'm trying to be so unbiased in this because I don't want to just be like, oh, like the Knicks are winning this, because I don't believe that. I think this is going to be a really tough series for the Knicks to win. I think it's going to be a tough series, though, for the Spurs to win, too. I think these are two very good teams, and I don't think the regular season means a ton. But we did see the Knicks beat the Spurs in the NBA Cup championship. And I know Mitch doesn't like to think of anything like that, but if you watch that game had playoff atmosphere. Like, you can't tell me if you sat down and watched that game that game did not have playoff atmosphere.
Oh, no, it had playoff atmosphere. What my point is that Wemby has made another evolution in this playoffs.
The Knicks don't even look like the same team from back in, when was that, December, January?
Something like that, December.
Yeah. Like, to me, I genuinely am not even looking at the last few months. Like, what for me, I'm looking at this new Knicks team that I've seen over the last few weeks, and what I've seen from them is a completely different, group of basketball players and and how the team has been run from what I saw for the first 85% of the season. And I think with that and how the Knicks have played offensively, like Josie said, it's not as Jalen centric. The Spurs were able to kind of get away with just trying to let SGA not let SGA beat them, but they were giving SGA shots that they were comfortable with him taking. And the first three games, like, the role players were stepping up. That's how OKC got out to a 2-1 lead. And I think you saw the Crusoes making shots. You saw Jared McCain making shots. You saw those guys stepping up. With the Knicks, I trust OG more. I trust Cat more. I trust Mikal more, and maybe Josh Hart more than four of the other five player starters on OKC's offense. So I think when you talk about a team that's so unselfish and any guy can go off on any given night, I don't think the Thunder really had that. And I think that's what makes it more difficult for the Spurs to guard, because I think the Spurs are very good at guarding individual star players, but I don't think they necessarily have the depth to compete with a team who can go 10 deep and all 10 of those guys can contribute on offense.
Yeah.
I think the strength of depth in San Antonio is going to be a very rude awakening for a rusty Game 1 Knicks team. I think it's going to.
I don't think Game 1 matters all that much.
In a series where you got to win 4, 1 is pretty important.
I mean, 1 when you're on 10 days of rest and you're not at home, is it?
No, that's the thing. In the context of you can use that as an excuse if the Knicks lose, or you can say, look, they were rusty and they still win. I understand. But in in a series like this, every game matters. Yeah. Every single game matters. So not to say that Game 1 is already like a throwaway, but it's like if you come out of the gate jet lagged and you're like, we'll ramp up at some point. This San Antonio team is very quickly swallowing you by being like, hey, we're going to absolutely deflate the fuck out of you with a blowout 30-point Game 1. That sets the tone for everything else. I think New York's best bet is coming in with that we're already down mentality. With that, we're going to just try everything we can to make this a dogfight from the get-go. We're not going to come out sleepy like we just had a little bit of Dayquil and we're kind of like, oh, we were just off. And like you said, we were at the resort, we were hanging out. No, they come in and they were just like, we were in the fucking Iron Palace grinding. We don't give a fuck about
Mitchell Robinson broke his finger
like it's
in the Iron Palace.
Well, I think that's one of my X factors is the Knicks really don't have a way to contain Wemby if Mitch can't play legitimate minutes in this series, where they need Mitch to not mirror Wemby's minutes, because Mitch is not playing 35, 40 minutes a game. That's never happening, but they're probably going to need him to still give them 15, 20 minutes a night in this matchup. He's going to have to play a lot more, I think, than he did against Cleveland, because Cleveland's bigs just aren't that great at punishing you when you play smaller. If you have Cat on Wemby for a 7-game series, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. I expect them to also probably throw OG at him, just because OG's pretty strong, and I know he obviously isn't going to probably contest the apex of Wemby's shot, but he can at least bump him off his spot. But Mitchell Robinson is 100% the X factor player for me in this series for the Knicks, where he is going to have a big role, and hope that him wearing that hand brace is going to make his pinky not be an issue. I hope it's not an issue on the catching lobs, but at the very least, he should be able to bother Wemby defensively. There's not many other 7-footers with Mitch's kind of athleticism and wingspan that can match Wemby's. And I'm not saying he's the Wemby stopper. That was a joke I was making in the group chat. Like, I don't actually think he's the Wemby stopper, but I think he gives the Knicks the best chance to at least slow him down.
Yeah, he's a Wemby slower.
like you'll still get run over, but it'll be much slower and more gradual, and you might have time to get out from under the wheels.
I'm interested to see is how Jalen reacts in a 7-game series to going against that type of. He's going to have the same problems that SGA just had, where he likes to get to the hoop a lot too, and it's going to be hard in this series. Obviously, Jalen's shot is beautiful, so we need to see that a lot if you're rooting for the Knicks. But
I think the biggest thing that I would do if I was a Knicks fan was before every game, I would check who the officiating crew is, because I think that's a very telltale sign of what are they going to be able to do physically? What are they going to be able to get away with? What do they need to press the issue for? Because like you said, the mirroring of Brunson's offense and Shea's is this motherfucker's 4 inches shorter. He's going to have a hell of a time getting to those runners and those floaters. And I think the biggest thing, like if you look at the parallels between Detroit and San Antonio, Detroit was very quick to bite on a lot of this Brunson ups, a lot of these little fakes, these head looks. And not to say that Thompson is not a very disciplined defender. He's just a very young guy, but he was jumping on everything. Duran was up in the air on everything. I think the unfortunate part right out of the gate for New York is going to be if Castle is as disciplined, if Harper is as disciplined, if Wemby stays down on a lot of that, that shuts an avenue for Brunson right away. If Brunson's whistle is not nearly as good as what it potentially could be with the right officiating crew, you're looking at a team that would be a little gobsmacked at how little they go to the line. I think if OKC and New York have any parallels, it's that the players know how to get people in the air, know how to find the right fouls, and know how to get people in trouble. If New York does not get the same whistle and that level of respect, I think it's an uphill battle out of the gate. I think it's going to suck to see as like things that should be called if it was Shea in that spot, but Brunson's not getting the whistle. I think that's going to sting.
Well, I'm already ready for Cat to get molested all series long and not go to the free throw line at all, because I'm not like, this is one of the things like I am set on. Like I don't think this is biased. I think Cat is probably a top 5 to 10 worst whistle in the entire NBA for like all-star players. Like out of like all-star / all NBA guys, the dude legitimately gets his arms pulled down, punched in the gut, his jersey pulled away every single time he drives. They don't call anything for him. And I think that's just now how he gets called, unfortunately, because other refs have just followed suit. If I see Zach Zarba officiating one of these games, I'm probably just going to sit with knives in my hands and wait for me to plunge them into my own eyeballs at some point, because he's awful and historically has been terrible for the Knicks. I think the way that they can beat, though, that free throw disparity is by the shooting disparity, because I know the Spurs are capable of shooting well, but when you're talking about regressing to the mean and overall, the Knicks have a much stronger 3-point shooting presence than I think the Spurs do. If they can force Castle into tough 3-point looks, if they can force Harper into 3-point looks where they're not just taking these wide open shots, which I think they got a fair amount in the OKC series, which I was maybe not surprised to see, because I think OKC was kind of making them make those shots and was giving them those shots because they felt that they were comfortable with them. But, the Knicks pretty much have every guy on their team except for Mitchell Robinson that can, shoot 40% from three, in a series. So I think the 3-point shooting is going to have to be big. Landry Shamit's going to have to be big off the bench. Deuce McBride's going to have to be big off the bench. And I think the Knicks reserves are going to have to outplay the Spurs reserves, because in the minutes that Wemby is off the floor, the Knicks are going to have to blitz them. The Spurs have had Harrison Barnes and Luke Cornett, who hasn't been very good for a lot of these playoffs, playing big minutes for them, or not big minutes, but playing minutes off the bench. I do think the Knicks have the advantage in terms of depth.
I think New York also has one of the more volatile shooting cores, because I've seen a Mikal Bridges 0 for 11 game. I've seen an OG 0 for 14 game. Like I think
not in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
The players, hold on. For the players who they are, it's still part of their makeup, rather. Like Mikal Bridges is liable.
I think that's like a saying like, oh, the Knicks are going to do this because they're the Knicks type of take.
Well,
no, Mikal Bridges is liable for a very poor shooting night, just as Julian Champagne's liable for a really good shooting night. Like it's the volatility of it. I think the consistency of the Knicks shooting is obviously going to carry them, but I also like it's also fair to say that San Antonio, it might not come back down to a median. That might be where their median is. They might be 35% shooters. Champagny might be a 44% shooter. Like that's if Wemby is through this entire playoffs, he's still shooting 35% on a high degree of difficulty of shots. If that's where he's sitting at and he's making these types of shots, there's not much you can do about that. And and it's like in the matter of like, will it come back down to earth? If that's where the earth is, then it goes up from there. That's a terrifying thought for a Knicks matchup.
Yeah. This series could go very wrong for the Knicks. I feel like you are being a bit doom and gloom for a team that has won 11 straight basketball games.
I not once said that New York was going to lose this series.
No, not that they were going to lose, but I just think,
I want the Knicks fans to come into this because this is the all-time high for everybody in the New York's fan base. Everybody is like you said, it is a very good time to be a Knicks fan, but there comes with a sense of reality where it's like, if you come into this expecting outcome A or B, the disappointment is more measurable. If you go into this expecting to enjoy a good basketball game, then you're going to have a better time if you win game one and then now they're on the back foot, right? No, yeah. I also will say your fan base has the extreme ends of like doom and gloom where it's like, I'm going to kill myself if we lose game one versus like, I'm going to burn my city down if we win. I think that tempering expectations is important in terms of whether or not Wemby gets his GOAT status started, whether or not Brunson puts his face on the Mount Rushmore of New York Knicks. I think he's already there personally, but I know there's some people.
He's number one or two if he wins it all.
I think he's number two right now, just based on the success that he's brought to City. I know that there's people who will put Patrick over him for like as long as they live.
For right now, I would put Patrick probably.
Yeah, I would say he's third.
I put Clyde. I've always had Clyde 1. I think it's Clyde 1, Ewing 2,
okay.
3.
He won the chip, so yeah.
I'd probably go Willis Reed 4th.
Where's Melo land on that list?
Melo's 5th, and then 6th Bernard.
Okay,
that's my list.
I've seen some people.
Shout out.
I've seen some people have some crazy Melo takes. They're like, well, Melo for the culture, and it's like, shut up, bro.
I saw someone told me yesterday, it was someone ratioed somebody saying that it was a discussion about Melo or whatever, and then someone said Jimmy Butler's had a better career than Carmelo Anthony, and I actually just was like there's like no.
In terms of what though? Like longevity?
In terms of longevity, maybe.
Yeah, but like, so what? You bounced around on like, okay, for Jimmy, the level of drop off from like your peak years in Miami to then like what he did.
Jimmy was never a top 5 player, top 8 player in the league.
He might have been.
No, I think he was always like that 10 to 15 range, even at his best.
I think 2020, 21. I'd say there's an argument for Jimmy to be in that range. Well, but there was also a time where Carmelo was the 3rd best player in the world. So it's like,
I got a next question real quick. Do you guys think that, well, one, the pass has been a big thing with the Knicks this year. They've been making the right reads this playoffs. And do you guys think that gets a lot harder with this Spurs team where, they're just everywhere? Like all these guys have their arms in the passing lanes. Wembanyama is.
I think it will be a lot harder in regards to Cat playmaking from the top of the key or, out of the high post, because that's what they did a lot against Philly and Atlanta. With Mobley and Allen, they kind of cut that off a little bit more in the Cavs series. So I'd expect to see it like that, but a lot harder because Wemby is that good and they have a lot of athletes and a lot of length, even though they don't have, that true power forward. I think it's going to have to be just a lot of, the ball has to keep skipping. Like people have to be not afraid of their shot. Like Mikal has to keep taking those middies to open up the floor. Like Josh has to be very confident going to the hole. Josh is going to drive to the hole with reckless abandon. So I think there's a world where Josh gets blocked by Wemby 5 times in a game. And I also think that there's a world where Josh gets Wemby in foul trouble because he's just so reckless and goes to the rim like a fullback, just trying to dive over the goal line of the end zone. I think in terms of the passing, though, from the Cat perspective, like Cat being the initiator a lot of the times, which has been a strength of the Knicks in the playoffs, I think that's going to be the hardest thing in terms of the passing for them to get over with.
Because clearly the pass is the way to get the ball past Wembanyama. If you can get him turned around in some way, like that is what you want as an offense. But when he's not reacting to the stuff on the perimeter, it's just so hard because those other guards, they've built such a good team around him. So that's another thing I'm really curious to see is how's the playmaking for the Knicks.
I think in this run for New York, they have not run up against a guard defender as annoying as Castle is, and I don't think they've run up as a wing defender as uncontrollably reckless as Carter Bryant is. So Carter Bryant is going to be going for these home run plays. He's going to get burned on a lot of them, but there's going to be a lot of momentum swingy plays where he does get a ridiculous poke on the ball, where he does erase, Hart from behind, and you just go, well, shit. Like a thing that was going to gain momentum ends up sucking momentum away. I think inverse, the Spurs have not run into a tandem as annoying as McCall and OG, because they're both going to be causing you. They're going to be, in terms of real estate on a half court setting, they're going to be sucking up a lot of space. There's the skip passes that aren't going to be available as they were in other series. There's going to be a lot of quick short rolls that aren't going to be available, because when you have the wingspan as these two have, it's really hard to get those easy. I mean, you could just throw it up to Wemby where nobody else can grab it, but they've also utilized a lot of the short roll skips, a lot of the short roll bounces that are not going to be there. Like Harper, Fox, and Castle are not going to be able to throw the little kind of short pocket passes that they've been used to throwing for, every series they've played in. Like I look at the Wolves as like the best parallel in terms of Jaden McDaniels kind of just being a nuisance in a radius. As in the ball, like his hands are fast enough that the ball comes around him and he's got it. Yeah. I think with the Knicks, you've got two of those players, and it's extra annoying because the guard play is what's really going to have to bail them out. If Castle or Harper get the better of Brunson on multiple possessions, then great. But I think more often than not, what's going to happen is Brunson's going to get beat and you get walled off immediately. And I think the difference between a defender of Castle's quality versus Cade's quality. Cade can body you up and wall you off from a drive. Castle's constantly poking. Castle's constantly trying to maneuver the ball away from you, making you uncomfortable, picking the ball up. I think Brunson's biggest problem is going to be keeping that dribble alive, because a lot of what I saw with Cade was he was a stronger body. Obviously, he was able to slide with you, but not once was he trying to wrap you and poke behind. Not once was he trying to swipe down to get the ball out of your hands. Castle's constantly, and it could get Castle in foul trouble as well, because Brunson is very good at embellishing that kind of contact. In the other retrospect, Castle could have his hands all over him, and the refs are just like, I didn't see anything. So it really comes down to like, how physical are they allowed to guard Brunson? How physical is Hart allowed to just run into the lane and hope that something happens from it? It very well could be that Wemby racks up like 4 quick fouls, or Wemby just straight up verticality, Hart gets nothing, and they just play on kind of thing.
I wouldn't hope for Wemby getting fouls, because he's just amazing at staying away from contact and just using his long ass arm to. Yeah.
And on the other end, he's 100% going to try to get Cat in foul trouble, because he's a very smart player, and he's going to be all over the scouting report. He knows what type of player Cat is, and as much as Cat's done a better job, he still had some issues with his foul trouble, in this playoff run. With going back to that point with Castles, I think that's really could be one of the Spurs' biggest advantages is, before this Knicks dominant run, which I will give Mitch I will not backtrack on what I said, but what Mitch was saying about earlier in the season is valid here, where the Knicks did have these tendencies to just throw a few bad passes in a row. It leads to a leak out a lot of. I wonder if that
Yes, he does. Yes, he does, Dion. Thanks for checking in with us, Dion.
So we got Dion here now in spirit in the chat. But what the hell was I just saying? Oh, yeah. So, like, if they can get a lot of transition opportunities and just beat the Knicks with their legs, that's going to be a big advantage for them. But on the other hand, if it's being called tightly and Castle is getting, called for fouls on Brunson, and Brunson's doing a good job of selling those calls, then it could get him in foul trouble quickly. And you want him, to be matching Brunson pretty much for the entire 48 minutes or however long that Brunson's out there. I did like, though, what I saw from Brunson in his matchups against Stephon Castle this season, where Brunson did a very good job of the minute Castle went for a poke, he was going the other way with the ball and turning Castle around. And I think that's something Brunson does very well to people who are over aggressive, where it's harder for, he did it to Asar Thompson too, where he freed up that game winning shot for the series winning shot pretty much in game 6 last year in the first round, where Brunson is so good at reacting to the defense the minute they do something that he's going to burn you for their mistakes. I think Castle definitely has the advantage being as big as he is for a guard, having the athleticism and, as quick as hands as he does have, he's going to get a few steals. But I also think being that aggressive could end up burning him. It's going to go one of two ways, and it could go both ways depending on the game.
I love Asar. He's just so undisciplined.
That's true.
It's wild. It's wild. Castle at least has like the mentality of like, okay, shit, he's got me 2 out of 3 times on this. Maybe I should stop. Asar just threw himself over and over, and Brunson was just like, snatch, it's gone. Snatch, it's gone. And it's like Asar's like, where did the ball go? It's like, dude, it frustrates me that motherfucker had more DPOY votes than Scotty did. That is what makes me go like, come on. But enough of my propaganda. I did want to ask you specifically. You said Robinson's going to be an X factor. I almost wanted to ask you, do you think OG taking on a bit more of that on-ball creation to just really force the wings of San Antonio to get a little bit away from that paint, a little bit away from that nail spot, so Brunson can get those little rise ups? Because I think the better that you can get Wemby having to worry about the 45-degree, the easier those little nail pull-ups are going to be for Brunson, because he's going to have to live off of Wemby being just like a couple hand lengths away from those rise ups. Yeah. I as much as I love Brunson and his craftiness at the rim, I think this is going to be one of those scenarios where he goes, okay, my pressure release has to be my pull-up. It has to be that little foul line jumper, because otherwise I'm going to get swallowed up in the paint. Did we already talk about Caruso? It depends on which Caruso dialogue you want to talk about.
So did you want me to answer that though? Is where I said
I wanted you to, like, in terms of how much more does OG have to shoulder offensively?
I think
for them to really have that edge.
With OG, it doesn't necessarily have to be what he was doing against the Hawks, where he was averaging like 22 on 66% from 3 or some crazy shit, or 50, 65, 58, 60, whatever it was, from 3. He was shooting the ball like Steph Curry. I obviously don't need that. I don't need him to be Kawhi Leonard either, but I think somewhere in the middle, him and Mikal were who I was going to say was the most important in terms of shot making. If those two guys can keep up the level of efficiency and, even the points per game, like Mikal averaging 20 for a series against Cleveland, if Mikal can be that legit third option, if Mikal can be the second best offensive player in this series, or the third best offensive player in this series outside of Brunson and Wemby, I feel very good about the Knicks' chances. It's all going to be, can Mikal keep up that same level of play that we've seen? I don't need him to shoot 72% from the field, but I need Mikal to give me a lot more than what we saw earlier on, but it doesn't have to be 100% of what we've been getting from him. If we can at least get 80% if the Knicks can get 80% of what they've gotten from OG and Mikal thus far, I think they're in good shape, because I think that's where they have the advantage over OKC, where those two guys are a lot better than having Cason Wallace and Jared McCain on the wing. No disrespect to those guys. I mean, they're younger and obviously don't have as much experience either, but I think having a 6'6" and a 6'8" wing that can score from all 3 levels at times, and Mikal's mid-range, I think, is again going to be just vital in this series.
I think OG, I mean, where's he at with his hamstring?
I mean, he looked rough in game 1, but by the fourth quarter, he was moving really well, and I think by game he looked better. So now with this, I think it'll be like 2.5 weeks off from that initial hamstring injury. I feel pretty good about his health. So, I do think that OG is – I think Mikal's a little more important than OG, but I think Mikal's right there with OG and being the 2 most important guys. Like, they have to be playing at this level instead of what we saw in the regular season. Not that OG was bad in the regular season, but against a team as good as the Spurs are at defense, you're going to need, an 18-point per game, 17-point per game OG.
So you're going to need those guys to show up in the transition game, which is the Thunder didn't take advantage of that nearly enough in this series.
And that was how they beat Cleveland over the head with hammers, is just getting out in transition. It was Josh leaking out, Mikal leaking out, OG leaking out. That's the one thing where I look at with the Spurs as, I guess, a weakness is when Stephon Castle has the ball in his hands, you should be blitzing that guy and make him make mistakes, because he's been very turnover prone. I know De'Aaron Fox, actually he was awesome today and just settling the pace. Like, he just set the whole pace for the Spurs.
Well, that's the thing. When Castle and Fox share the floor, Castle's turnover is way down.
Yeah.
So I think shout out Champagne.
That's the key for the Spurs, is playing them together as much as possible.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, do you think, so obviously Wemby was pissed that Shea getting MVP, despite the fact that I don't think Wemby was actually going to win it, but like, he took that very personally. Does Wemby come in with that same energy, being like, man, that in-season tournament, That was some bullshit. Time to
I need my cup back.
Yeah,
what
right.
Surprised me from Wemby's standpoint of how he seems to be very not even petty in a good way. I like that he takes offense to everything and he wants to prove people.
Oh yeah, he's a killer.
Doing, man, what is that?
I don't know. Those are emojis I didn't know existed.
YouTube has their own set of emojis. It looks like a
Hulk they do.
Emoji.
Oh, that's crazy. Hold on.
What were we saying?
Chat's going
this
crazy.
looks like a can of spam that's angry that it's being opened.
And then the next one's Hulk, but like they don't have the rights to Hulk.
Like SpongeBob Hulk.
Yeah.
What were we saying though? You were talking about Fox and Castle, right?
Yeah, in terms of like their play and how dynamic it's going to be. But like I do believe, and this might be my anti-Spurs agenda talking, but I do believe that Brunson is going to probably get the best out of all three guards for at least 90% of the time they're on the floor together. There could be a realm where De'Aaron Fox takes it to another level. I wouldn't put my money on it, but I do think the emergence of Harper and how comfortable he is in this setting will either make or break a lot of like what their guard play is going to be like, because Harper has looked just shy of fantastic in my opinion. Now maybe the lights are going to be a little too bright in a final setting versus the Western Conference Finals, but I think what better way to like really, cut your teeth than against a guy like Brunson? Yeah. Because at the very least, you could kind of box with Shea. Now it's time to go with the guy who has just a little more burst than Shea, but his team is going to be a little more competent around him. So, I mean, just to get this out of here, there's no bad ending to this series. Either my good friend Nate gets a chip in his lifetime and his city gets to celebrate, or we start the dialogue of Wemby's GOAT debate and his trajectory for the league. Let's just say tonight, good basketball won. All right. I think that the dialogue is everybody's happy with this outcome, right? Everybody's happy.
Two out of three of us are very happy, but hey man, we got our championship.
You got yours, all right. I got mine. You got yours.
Yes, yep. Nate's next. Dion got his.
I am just for the record out there for those who may not know, I am currently the only member of 2 for 1 that does.
Needs one of these.
Oh.
I'm the only member of 2 for 1 that has not experienced my favorite basketball team win a championship thus far. Dion, a Celtics fan, Mitch, Raptors fan, and Josie, obviously, as we just said, OKC. Do we want to give like official predictions here for the series? I guess
let's close it out with that.
Yeah. So I guess I'm not going to go first because my team is the only one that's playing in it. So we'll start it off with Mitch, I guess.
I'm going to go Spurs in 6. I could very well see this going to 7 games. I think it's very predicated on if Brunson is able to just kind of, and I use this word sparingly, molest all 3 guards. I think it's going to come down to whether or not Mitch and Kat have some sort of semblance of slowing Wemby down. I wish it was both teams at 100%. I wish there was no nagging, lingering injuries with New York. And I'm going to say that there's a huge asterisk because if the Knicks lose in 5, I can immediately be like, it's because of the injuries. This would be a 7-game series.
I mean, it's just Mitch.
No. Hey, that's the Wemby stopper. All right. That's the Wemby stopper. Yes. But I'm going to go Spurs.
I wish I could feel good about blaming injuries if they lost, but that's like I can't. There's no.
I wholeheartedly believe that the best chance that the Knicks have is Mitchell Robinson putting up a fight against Wemby. I'm going to say Spurs in 6. I would not be surprised if it went 7. And then obviously if it goes to game 7, it's a coin toss because as we know, game 7s are very volatile. But my official prediction, stamp it, Spurs in 6.
I got to go a little more aggressive here. I think the Spurs are going to come out. They play in 3 days here. I think they're going to come out, or 4 days maybe, and bring this energy to this series from the first game. The Knicks are going to be rusty. We saw it against Cleveland, and the Spurs are a way better team. I think it's just going to be an uphill battle from the beginning for the Knicks, in my opinion, even though we highlighted a lot of reasons why it couldn't be or why the Knicks could be in the series. But I got to go. My gut is telling me Spurs in 5, unfortunately, which I'm sorry, Nate.
No, you don't have to apologize. I like this. I like being the underdog. I don't want
Knicks in 4.
With that said, Knicks in 4, motherfucker.
I like that. Sorry, before you get it off, it was like the true Knicks fan versus like the performative Knicks fan, where he's like, Knicks in 6, right? He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? That means that they have to lose 2 games. What are you, fucking stupid? And it's just like, he's like, no, it's for the culture. And he's like, get the fuck out of my face wearing a goddamn Brunson jersey. Get out of here. And he's got like the double stitched, like fucking Rick and Jalen kind of combo. It's just seeing Knicks fans get so like enveloped in it. It brings me back to 2019. I dropped to my just a quick tangent. I dropped to my knees at a place called Handlebar Hanks when we won the championship, and I was crying. And I cued Drake on the fucking Spotify playlist thing that they have, and I was just sitting there in the corner like, "Bring me a turbo. It's time to celebrate tonight. Bring me a tweet. We're up." And then my city had a great parade, and I wish that for you, Nate. So what's your
one of these fan bases is about to get that feeling?
I don't know if I'm allowed to like. I feel like if I pick them, it's bad omen, but it's also bad omen to not pick them.
But the jinx or the reverse jinx?
But in how many?
Hold on. I'm gonna go Knicks in 6, and I genuinely believe it, and I'm gonna try to not convince you or say that your picks are wrong, but just sell you on a little bit more.
Okay.
You know, you talk about Wemby being hungry. I don't think there's a man in the sport maybe more hungry than to do it on the biggest stage than Jalen Brunson. I think he's gonna have a terrific series. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him average 30 in this series. I also wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't average 30, average like 24, and his assists are way up. But I think regardless, he is going to control this series. He's the guy I trust more than anybody offensively in this series by a large margin, even with Wemby having some good games. He also had some games where he was not very good. And I think the Knicks experience as a group, as this group being together, gives them a little bit of an edge. I think when there's adversity later in the series, if it's close, the Knicks are going to be able to pull it out more. The thing I've been most inspired from this Knicks team, and it's been the last few years, is they respond better to adversity than any group that I've seen with the Knicks ever. Obviously, it's not they're not in a great company. There haven't been a lot of great teams that I've had the pleasure of watching, but I think they finally have the coach, and the way Mike Brown has handled everything since Game 3 in Atlanta has really, it's made me feel confident, because you guys know how I was not inspired by this team a few months ago. I was confident that they had no chance to actually win a championship. And what I've seen over the past month or two, really the past month, it's been crazy to watch. And I think I'd be wrong to not have confidence in this team as a fan of them. So I'm going to go Knicks in 6. If they lose, the Spurs are a fantastic team. They could, of course, win this series. But yeah, I'm going to go with my gut and say Knicks in 6. Hopefully, hopefully they're able to pull it out. I won't say if it does go 7. I don't love the Knicks' chances, just because I think the Spurs at home would be very, very tough to beat.
The fallback is always, we're just happy to be here. That's my favorite line. We're just happy to be here.
Yeah,
when we lost to Cleveland, I'm just happy to be here.
But before we get out of here, though, I just want to ask, because you guys talked about the Knicks being rusty at all. You don't think that them having this much rest benefits them, though, after the Spurs have
absolutely not.
Over the course of the series, yes, I do think so, because Wembanyama played the most minutes he's ever played in his life in this series. So
I just think Wemby might be a little tired by halfway through this series. But again, maybe some people thought
they're
that was
so locked in. Too. Like they just had to play at the highest level they've ever played, and they're going to be so locked in coming into the finals. I do think we saw the Knicks be rusty before. So
here's how it goes. I think if the Knicks can make this a half-court series, they probably win it. If the Spurs can make this a game of running back and forth in transition, and hey, we have a 7'5" demigod, they're probably going to win the series.
I would almost inverse that.
Really?
I think
just
the Knicks
of Wemby,
yeah. I think the Knicks' best chance is to not have to run a half-court set against Wemby, and it's to just beat them in transition every single time.
I feel like but they moved the ball. I feel like that tiring Wemby out in the half court could be beneficial.
I've yet to see Wemby worry about that, because the thing is, and it's so annoying to think about in this instance, is that the energy that Wemby has to expend to take one step to contest the shot versus Wemby trying to catch a flood out from Josh and OG kind of thing. First 2 on Knicks win 4 straight. That would be
shout out King Baco.
Now listen, if that is the script, that would be the best way for New York to win, because back against the wall 4 straight.
The double douchebag sweep.
What I will say is I don't think there's any way they lose in 5. I think this series is at least going 6.
I hope I'm wrong on that, Nate. For your sake.
See, I tempered mine. I gave it an extra game that I didn't really believe in, because I was gonna say 5, and then I was like, that's disrespectful. There's a possibility. I genuinely think that there's a realm where New York is just like, yeah, we're the underdogs. We're gonna come into this swinging, and then Wemby's just like, shh.
Yeah, I get that if like that was the type of vibes that the Knicks just, I feel like their whole character and what they've been built on has just changed. Like they are not. I don't think they're going to play around. I expect them to come out swinging. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
I mean,
you can all laugh at me.
I hope in the finals nobody's playing around, but like in the instance of like them, it's not like, again, everything that we have said is not to discredit the Knicks. It's just we have seen rest be a detriment to an opening game, and I think game one sets the tone going forward. And I'm more inclined to believe that the Knicks are better if their backs are against the wall rather than like all of the air in the building immediately sucked away.
Yeah,
because it's
if they lose by 30, like you said, I'd probably agree that I would not have the most confidence. But I think if they at least if they start out slow, they come back and it's a tight game down the stretch and they lose by a possession or two, I'm not going to be freaking out over the Knicks losing an away game in game one.
Yeah, no, the thing that game one is scary is if it is a large deficit.
I would agree with if they come out and because I don't think the Knicks are coming back down 22 with 7 minutes left again in game one. I think that's ultimately what decided that Cleveland series. So against a much better team in San Antonio, you can't afford to have that slow of a start. I very much agree with that. We've been on here though for quite some time. Anything else you want to get on or get off your chest before we head out of here?
Just want to say all this talk about this final series. We're gonna keep covering it on this channel.
Yes,
give us a subscribe. Give us a like on the video if you're watching this. We appreciate you guys watching it right now.
I'm gonna guess everyone watching is probably already subscribed, but if you're not, go subscribe. If you're not subscribed, you just subscribed, comment, and I'll Venmo you $5. You have like probably
trust me, bro.
10 to 15 seconds before that offer expires. So again, we'll wait around here for I'll do a little dance.
Fanspo had 79 posts, including Giannis and OKC in the last 20 minutes. I opened it up and
just subbed like 10 minutes ago. Yeah, Steven.
Shout out, Steve.
Yo,
for trying to scam half of the fantasy league, I'm gonna have to actually pass on paying you $5.
In fact, I think Steven probably owes us $5.
Toss my bread. Oh, my fingers were crossed. Anyways,
hey, if the Knicks wins, maybe you can give him the $5.
I think he should be giving me $5 if the Knicks win.
Oh, okay.
All right. Anyways, we've been on here for almost an hour, 20 minutes. The Oklahoma City Thunder are not going to be back-to-back champions, unfortunately, for our good friend Josie here.
The parody era. Hey.
Yeah.
The parody era.
Another what is this? The eighth straight different champion or seventh?
Eighth.
Yep. So 8 straight new champions for the NBA. We'll see who it is. Final start on Wednesday. I think we're going to have another Monday pod. Dion's hopefully back. So we'll have another episode back out on Tuesday. And yeah, that'll do it for now. Hopefully this first live stream here on the 2-for-1 podcast went well. We hope you all enjoyed. We thank everyone who did tune in. And even Dion over there, we see you still. Hoop Journal just saying random stuff in the comments, random emojis. Anyways, it's getting late. I hope everybody, including Thunder fans, cry, let it all out, and just feel the feels. You got a championship last year. It's okay. And for Spurs and Knicks fans, congrats. And may the odds ever be in your favor? Little Hunger Games.
The Hunger
Games. There. I guess that's going to do it. So until the next episode, until Tuesday, this has been Nate, Mitch, and Josie. Dion from the grave, sending his best wishes. That's all for now. Good night.
From the grave.